Hello students. So today I'm going to discuss GDP. It's very important for IAS or any other competitive examinations. In economics, when we study national income, then GDP is very important topic here. I am Bapi Karmakar presenting this video. So let's start the video. First, what is the full form of GDP? Here, three letters G, D and P. The letter G stands for gross. That means total or aggregate. D for domestic. That means within a geographical territory. I will explain later. But first, let us know the full form of GDP. And then the final letter P. P is for product. Here the product means final goods and services. What is final goods and services? We will see it later. Okay. So what is the full form of GDP? Gross domestic product. This is the full form of GDP. Gross domestic product. G for gross, D for domestic and P for product. Okay. Next. So now we're coming to definition of GDP. So what is GDP? GDP is gross domestic product, or GDP is the total market value of all final goods and services produced within a domestic territory during a specific time period, typically a year or a quarter. This is the definition of GDP. So here many terms like final goods and services or a domestic territory, these are unknown to us, especially who are newcomer. They are the students who want to know, but nowhere is a correct explanation present. That's why I'm explaining these terms later. Okay, so first, market value. Do you know what is market value? Market is a place where buyers and sellers exchange their goods and services with the help of money as a medium. But when you produce something, suppose we are producing bread. So here we are just making bread and we have to incur some cost for making the bread. But we are not selling this bread. What was the actual cost to produce this bread? So we are adding something. That means we are adding some value, and after adding some value the price increased. That means cost plus profit. The extra value which is added by us is the profit. So we are not selling for charity, we are selling for profit. So after the total cost we are adding something which is profit. So after adding the profit, the government will not allow us to sell it because government has rules. What is the rules? What is the rules? The government is here to provide many types of services and goods. That's why the government needs money. From where? From us, from the consumer. That's why we have to pay taxes. So when we are adding profit to the cost and the taxes, that means net indirect taxes, that becomes market value. So market value is factor cost plus net indirect taxes. So what is net indirect taxes? Net indirect taxes. Here net means after substituting the subsidies from indirect taxes. Indirect taxes, do you know what is indirect taxes? Taxes are two types, direct taxes and indirect taxes. Direct taxes in which the people are paying the taxes to the government directly. People to the government. And in indirect taxes, something is produced and he paid the taxes to the government, but he is not actual payer of the taxes. The actual payer of the taxes is the consumer, end consumer, who is consuming the goods. Okay, so this is called indirect taxes. So now, when we are adding net indirect taxes to the factor cost, NIT plus FC. FC means factor cost. So this becomes MV, market value. Okay. This is also called market price, MP. Okay. Now next domestic territory. What is domestic territory? Domestic means within a geographical area or a geographical territory administered by a government, within which people, goods and capital circulate freely, and it's not limited to the political boundaries of a country. This is called domestic territory. Like India is a domestic territory. Like the USA is also a domestic territory. Okay. Next, final product. What is final product? I will explain it later. But for now, final product is the product. A final product is the end product of a production process ready for consumption or use by the end consumer. Okay. So final product is a product which is not further produced, which is consumed by the consumer. Come to the next part, which is final product. Now here you can clearly see that wheat, a farmer is producing wheat. Okay, then he is selling this wheat to a flour owner. Okay, so wheat comes to the flour factory. The owner is making this wheat flour. Now wheat is not the final good, because with wheat we are making flour. So what is the final good now? Now flour is the final good. But a bread maker or a bakery is purchasing flour to make bread. So now flour is not a final good. It is intermediate good, and the final good is bread. If we are consuming this bread, this is final good. But if we are producing something with the bread, it will become an intermediate good. Like if we are making burger with the bread, then burger will be the final good, but bread will be the intermediate good. But now here, wheat and flour, these two are intermediate goods, and bread is final good. Okay. So GDP, real GDP and nominal GDP. There are two types of GDPs. Okay. So when we are calculating GDP with the help of base price, this is called real GDP. And if it is calculated at current price, then it is called nominal GDP. So what is base price and what is current price? Current price means we are just calculating GDP, the values of all goods and services. Okay. But the goods and services must have a price tag, and that price must be current price, because when we are just taking the value, we will see the price of the good, and this will be current price. And after calculating this GDP, this will be nominal GDP. Okay. But year after year, when we are calculating GDPs year after year, if we are calculating this every current price, then we cannot see that GDP is increasing or decreasing. As if price increases, GDP will increase. If price decreases, GDP will decrease. So we have to calculate it with a base year price. Okay. Base year means we are taking a year as base year. like 2002, it is base year. We are just taking suppose. Okay, so when we are calculating the GDP in 2002 with the actually on the basis of the year 2002, price of 2002, this will be nominal GDP, and if the base year is 2002, then it will also be the real GDP. After 2002, 2003, if we are calculating the GDP in 2003 with the help of the price of 2003, then it will be nominal GDP. But we are calculating GDP of 2003 with the help of the price of base year like 2002, then it will be real GDP. Okay. So next here, GDP deflator. GDP deflator means the gap between real GDP and nominal GDP, and we have to calculate it with percentage. That's why the formula is nominal GDP divided by real GDP into 100. Here, if 2015 is base year, then the nominal GDP is 75,000 US dollar. Real GDP is also 75,000 US dollar because it is the same year. So GDP deflator 100%. So 100. Next, in 2016, GDP has increased to 88,700 US dollar as nominal GDP, but real GDP, it is based on 2015 year's price. So it is 85,000 only. So now what is the GDP deflator? So nominal GDP by real GDP into 100, that is 104. It has increased 4%. Okay, 104% increased. Is that clear? I hope it is all clear. In my next video, I will explain GDP, GNP, NNP, everything. Okay, so now, for now, please subscribe this channel if you want to learn economics, and stay with us. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.